Hi, I'm John Caspar. A year ago, I was living a perfect life. I had just had my honeymoon, came back from Europe where I rode with some buddies all across Europe on motorcycles, got married to the most beautiful woman in the world. You'd rather look at her than me, let me assure you. And 6 weeks after our perfect honeymoon, I find out that I have cancer. Not the good kind. Well, we went for treatment. We won the treatment battle. It looked good. Turns out they got the cancer in my throat, got the cancer in my lymph nodes. Terrific news. Except for one thing. It spread to my lungs, it spread to my bone, it spread to the lymph node in my chest. That's really not good. Doctors say I've got 8 to 10 months to live. What do you do if you've got 8 to 10 months to live and you've got the perfect life? Well, I'm not complaining about anything in my life except I'd like more of the same. So what we're going to do is rally. That's what people do when they're having a tough time. When times get tough, you rally. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Targa in Newfoundland. It's a 5-day, 2,200 kilometer, that's about 1,300 miles for you Yankees, 2,200 kilometer race through outport villages in Newfoundland. It's very scenic and it's crazy fun. This is what we want to do. We want to get there, drop into rally cars, and do something that, oh, incidentally, I have absolutely no experience doing. But it's better than that. Turns out I talked my oncologist into racing against me. Now, he's got some sports car experience that I don't have, but he's terrified to do this. You'd think, as a cancer doctor, he'd know that life's too short. But I talked him into it anyway, and he's willing to race me. I tell him, listen, terminal cancer patient races his oncologist. That's a great story, and that's the story we're selling. We've got to get trained, we've got to learn how to do this, and then we've got to... Okay, as you can tell, we're doing this with a handy cam. It turns out the dog did not eat us alive, and no humans were actually harmed in the making of this video. Excuse the amateur hour theatrics, but this is the story. One of the fascinating things about the story of the rally is that people are expecting something different. They don't expect somebody with a limited amount of time to live to be just getting on with their life, let alone doing something interesting or exciting. I guess it's about choices. I'll give you an example. I come out of a meeting with the doctor. My wife is in attendance and we find out that I have a limited amount of time to live. That's the way my day goes. We, 2 days later, go in for a second opinion. And you know what? We don't like the second opinion as much as the first. I want to say, listen, I want to talk to the manager. I want the original deal first. So that's my Wednesday morning. That afternoon, I scoot up to a nearby shopping strip and I go into a store or two and I come back and I find out that there's a big dump truck parked beside my car. So as I approach the dump truck, I sort of wave my key and say, oh, you know, that's my car there. And the dump truck doesn't move. He just sits there. I get a little closer, I make eye contact with the driver and I say, that's my car there. Can you move your truck, please? Nothing happens. So I squeeze myself in between the truck and my car. I look up and I say, hey, buddy, my car here. Well, he's furious. He bangs the steering wheel. I see your effing car. Rah, rah, rah. Whips open the passenger side door and says, didn't you see the effing signs? Blah, blah, blah. He's in a rage. I say to him, hey, I'm sorry, you know, I guess I had a bad morning and I didn't see your signs. Now there's no signs. And that's not what's important. What's important is this guy's in some kind of a rage. I said, you know, I had a bad morning. I didn't see your signs. What does he say to me? He says, I'm having an effing worse day than you are, I guarantee you that. Well, that's just too good an opener. So I say to him, yeah? What do you got? Turns out, it's better than you think. He says, I just came from the cancer agency. I'm wearing a bag on the side. I'm taking cancer treatment, and they don't know how it's going to turn out. I say to him, brother, I just came from the cancer agency too, and they know how it's going to turn out. Turns out, I got a few months. Well, you could have heard a pin drop. He looks at me all confused, but the anger doesn't leave his face. What he says is, yeah, well, stay positive. And he slams the door and he moves his truck. You can't make that stuff up. Now, don't miss the import here. It's not just about me running into this truck driver so that he can decide, hey, maybe I have a different way to look at this. Maybe I can decide whether my response is going to be angry or not. It's not it at all. It's also an opportunity for me to learn, hey, I could be scared, angry, and sitting in a dump truck. And instead, I'm going to rally.